Welcome to another episode of Creating You in the Universe with your host, Leah and Sandra. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Wow. I'm not going to stop that just because it's not going to change. So today's episode is about the power of words. Words matter. And before we start, I'm going to sign it over to Leah and her wonderfulness to make a
intention. Today, my intention for you is to recognize how powerful you are and that every word out of your mouth will be that which is positive, encouraging, and painting a picture of your future the way that you desire. My intent for you is that your words work for you rather than against you. Your words work for you in every moment of every day, and your innate wisdom of your words comes out flawlessly. That is my intent for you today, to
Awesome.
recognize the power of your words.
All right. That was awesome. That was powerful. So, let's see. Powerful words. Words matter. Power of words.
Well,
I know we wanted to do this one for a little while. You have something?
Well, spelling. When you look at words and spelling, you might be familiar with this already. S-P-E-L-L. Spell. I'm going to cast a spell on you. You are constantly casting spells. Whether you are actively engaging in it or passively, it doesn't matter. Your words are the spell, and you are broadcasting them to the world. Casting a spell. To me, I've known this for a while. One of those beautiful nuggets of wisdom my grandma taught me at a very young age of how we talk to ourselves matter. We see it in science as well. You do a science experiment of you pick the thing, we'll say rice. 3 jars of rice.
That too. That's so funny.
You know? One jar you speak loving words to. One jar you speak hateful words to. The last jar you neglect. And so that or something else, there's water, how you speak to water can change the crystallization and the beauty that is unwrapped. If you have spare time, please check out Veda Austin, V-E-D-A. Austin Water. She blows my mind every day. She brought up, sidebar, water has memory. It has a consciousness. You can ask water questions and get answers, and she's showing this through glyphs. And glyphs to her are defined as the same image coming up X amount of time. She finds images in ice based off how you speak to it. You don't even have to speak. It can be your mind. Words matter.
Words matter. Thank you for saying that, because I was going to bring that up too, and that's going to be on one of our coaching sessions in our program. We'll tune out here for a commercial break. And welcome back. So yeah, the coaching, big thing is about how we talk. The rice experiment was amazing. I knew about that for years, about how we talk to water. I have a little story. I was filling up the jugs of water, and although the water that we drink in these bottles, which I drink too, and we get the water purified, it's dead water. Basically, there's nothing in it. Try for alkalized water if you can, but we do what we can.
I'm setting up through, there's other machines, but we use Kangen. It's hydrogenated water. Huge health benefits. I'm so excited to share those in my journey because it's been a couple years, but now that I'm going back on it, I'm excited.
Cool. Yeah. So I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, I was filling up the water, and so I do what I can. I know the power of my words. I know I can manifest, and I know I can manipulate energy. That's what I meant to say. So I'm filling up this, I'm sitting at co-op and filling up this water, and as the water's coming out, I'm blessing the machine. I'm also blessing the water that's going in the machine. Beautiful, lovely, gratitude, thank you. You're amazing. You're so gifted. And this little girl came by, and I've never seen, and she was old enough to know what that water was. I've never seen that before. She was just like staring at it like it was glowing, and I'm like, and I'm still like chanting, but I'm chanting quiet enough that I know she can't hear me. But it's just like, she was just like bewildered at this water, like it was like the elixir of life, like what is going on with this magicness, but children see that stuff way better than adults do, because they're tuned in. They're the closest thing to source, without being
Programmed differently.
yet. Right. So that was amazing. One of the things, I'm always learning, I'm always studying, I'm always growing my mind. Every week my goal is to read a new book, either it's a growth and learning, whatever it is that I'm interested in. And one of the things that I'm starting to research is the power of words and the power of how powerful it is. And my husband Ian found this woman. It's probably someone that you probably know. I don't know the name off the top of my head, but she talks about casting spells with language and how important it is. And so I really noticed one thing that she really talked about was how we talk about morning, good morning, weekend, things like that. And I was like, whoa. But she had like this really different take on it. Like weekend is the end, like it's a weak link, like it's the weakest
weak,
end.
like
it's a weak, like
you're opposite of
weakling.
strong.
Like, yeah, right.
Weekend.
Weekend, good morning. Good is good, but morning is like death. It's like it's
like
negative.
someone died. Have a good morning with that.
And it's so funny because for the longest time, so I think that was a couple months ago, so I really don't say good morning anymore to anybody. I say good day.
Grand rising.
You said grand rising. That was wicked. Top of the morning to you. Good day. A great day to you. All those things. And it's so amazing how we're so programmed, or people are so programmed for that good morning, that they almost feel like you're not reciprocating it if you don't say good morning. So I'm telling you, anyone who's come across, I don't say good morning anymore because I know what it means. So grand day to you, all those things. So you can take it for what it's worth, but there's a lot of research, a lot of scientifically proved information about the power of what we say to ourselves. And how many times in a day have you caught yourself mentally even saying, oh, I don't look good, I don't feel good, I'm fat, look at like you're talking to this beautiful perfection in this encapsulated skin, and yet you talk down to it all the time. In a career, oh, I hate my job, I hate my boss, I hate, oh, I dislike that person, I hate that coworker,
Can I share the first time I really, like, Grandma always raised me, watch your words, watch how you talk to yourself. When I put it into action, and it really stuck as a life lesson for me, was we were on a trip in grade 9, away from home. It was a big deal. And we were sailing the Gulf Islands, and we stopped on one of the only rainforests in Canada, because Canada, I mean, you think of polar bears, not rainforests. And so, I'm not gonna lie, I was not looking forward to this walk at all. I was negative, I don't want to do this, womp. Any way I could shit on this experience, I did. And so, it was challenged to me. One of the parents or teachers said, hey, what you say matters, and if you changed, fake it till you make it, then you might be surprised at how you feel. And so I felt sassy. I'm like, I'm gonna show you. And so sarcastically, I was like, oh, this is the best ever. And anything I could with the biggest sass and sarcasm. And sure enough, something started to shift. It was about halfway through the walk where the sarcasm started to fade. And what was being reflected was like the best day ever. And it really was because of what I was saying. It started as a fake it till I make it, and it turned into reality.
So I challenge you for something that I did a few years ago. Oh, maybe even like 15 years ago, not just a few. And it is very difficult. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but it's a 30-day challenge about not saying anything negative about anything, about anybody, about yourself, even swearing. And 30 days, and you don't get to move on to the next day unless that day is complete. So it's not like 30 days and, oh, I did it 4 days out of the 30. No, you don't get to count that day unless it's 100%. And I tell you, I couldn't make it. I couldn't do it. It was, I got, I think 5 days in,
I'm thinking about depression. I remember being at home with all the things that I manifested in my life and hearing myself speak poorly about my experience as a mother, and almost as a mom, it's easy. Goes without saying, it can be hard. But when I focus on that, that's all I could see. So your words will affect what you see, good or bad. And by changing my tune to gratitude every day, and some days it was a struggle, saying I love my life. Which is ironic because that's what I desired. Anyways, that's a different story for a different day. But the point is, when I changed my words, it reflected my reality. And it helped me get out of a funk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if that's too much, then try to challenge yourself for, let's say, 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Try to do 24 hours. The point is that everyone knows words matter. You know they do. You know, if you've actually studied the rice experiment or the water experiment, you know it to be true. Yet, how do you talk to each other? How do you talk to yourself? Are you doing that? Are you being honorable to yourself? Is your body your temple? Is your mind your temple? Do you treat this thing, this skin, this beautifulness, as though it is a god or goddess? You are, and we are all God within. God is within all of us, or the universe is within all of us. And you have this, not only that, but your mind, your brain is this supercomputer, they can't even figure it out. There's bits and pieces that they know, and yet, how do you talk about your mind? How do you talk about your memory?
I'm depressed. I have depression.
I can't even tell you how many times
I'm broke.
Yeah, people have come to me oh, I didn't remember. You didn't remember. You've got a supercomputer between this and this. The biggest computer that ever exists on the planet that the scientists can't even figure out, and you can't remember?
Mm-hmm. There's things that I catch myself saying that is a work in progress. Where, for me, one of the common phrases that I'll say is, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Mm-hmm. And so I'm affirming I can't hear. And sure enough, hearing feels like it's going this way. So I catch myself saying this. And now, instead of telling my child, I can't hear you, I've switched the language to say it louder.
Mm-hmm. One piece of that I'll give to some clients, I do it to myself every day. I say I'm beautiful. So I literally start at the top of and I use my hands. I'm so beautiful. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I'm beautiful. I go with my whole body. Right now, because I'm on a fat loss journey, for those of you who are following, I say, I'm so beautiful. I'm so beautiful. And then I get to my body and I start saying toned. I'm toned. I'm toned and beautiful. Toned and beautiful. Toned and beautiful. And toned and beautiful. And you'll watch it 2024. You watch what I look like in 2020. I'm going to say 2026 because there's a lot of fat that I do have on me, but my body needs to lose the fat and keep the skin taut at the same time. So I'm doing a very slow approach, which some people, you can start to see the progress and then it stops, and then you start to see the progress and it starts, because I want my body to be taut, tight, toned, and beautiful, and yeah. So that's something that I taught and teach myself, and I did that a lot. And I did that a lot as a young adult, about being beautiful and feeling that beautiful. And it's amazing when you start to say that, people will actually start to be like, you look really good today, or you're such a beautiful person.
You have a different aura because your frequency is higher, because you are not bathing yourself in frequencies of words that are working against you. They're working for you and magnifying the good in your life and the good that is you.
You're casting the spell of that. So it must be. Ask and it shall be given. There's so many different variations of whatever wording you want to say, but our words matter, and be careful what you say. Be careful what you wish for. And if you've ever said something that you didn't mean, recant right away. Don't wait. I've had it where my kids have said something really sarcastic. Oh, well, I wish you weren't here anyways. And I was like, recant that. And they're like, why? I was like, because the universe doesn't know what you mean by that, and it could mean literally taking them from the planet, not just out of your room. And so all my children are very now, it's subconsciously programmed to them that they're very careful of what they say. Yeah.
For me, when the body stuff definitely changed how I feel about myself. Looking in the mirror naked and saying nice things to myself, it starts out uncomfortable, but back to that fake it till you make it, it becomes, you see I saw a different beauty in myself that I wasn't seeing previously. What's interesting is I've been the weight that I am now other times before. What feels different this time is I feel super beautiful. I feel beautiful. I know I'm beautiful. Where I've been the same weight and that beauty or that feeling isn't associated with this weight. It's like I can't be this weight and beautiful too, where something's shifted. So that's new for me. I really like that. Sure, I would love the fat loss to continue, and I find for myself postpartum, around 18 months, something shifts in my body and starts to let go easier, and I'm not quite there yet. But the point is, through using words, even though I am this weight again, which is like 12, 14, and I've been like this, like my whole, basically since birth control, is that now I still feel beautiful. I still look at myself and I feel like I am a beautiful woman. I love my body. I just have a lot to love.
Yeah. So, I mean that like, of course you're beautiful. Yeah. I didn't mean like, there's a lot of you to love. I didn't mean that at all. So let me just make that really crystal clear. The other piece of that was just coming through that is almost lost. Let me pause for 1 sec. Oh, timing. If you really pay attention to the rice experiment or the water experiment, did they pour the water and then within a second it was all of a sudden beautiful? Like, I'm going to pour this water and it's beautiful. Like, no. They put it in a Petri cup or whatever they put into a bowl or a jar or this or that, and it was like, I think it's a week or it could even be 2 weeks in some cases. Well, that's food and water. Those things change rapidly. I mean, food, you can't put food in the fridge and then it's like, it decomps after like 3 days, right? Real food, not like processed food. But our bodies take a little bit longer than that. So just remember when you're saying those things, I'm so beautiful, toned and healthy, or whatever you're saying, you're talking and giving the casting for tomorrow and today, but you're going to see the progress tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. So every day you need to do it. It's like a train, right? Like it's not like this. It's not like this. It's
like the sailing trip in the rainforest. It starts off a little sarcastic, but it'll get there.
So be patient. Just know that what we're creating or what we're experiencing right now, we already created. We already created it however long ago. We've been saying these things, or talking bad about ourselves for decades, years, months,
especially women. Like,
right.
Sidebar, there's been a huge focus on women and attack on women, our bodies, how we're supposed to show up in the world. So many, I mean, in men too, definitely. There are so many programs that have purposely gone into your subconscious to create sentences that just naturally fall out of your mouth. It is a process to reprogram. Some things do come a little bit quicker than others, but the point is, if you keep at it, your words matter and your life will reflect what you say.
And it just have some patience. Don't give up. And as you say it more and more fluidly off your tongue, like it'll just become subconsciously, and then all of a sudden that will be the program that's running to. And if you need help with that, we can help.
Yes. So I'm thinking examples right now. One of the first ones I remember getting a hard time from my mom and my grandma. Don't use that word. Well, your subconscious is like, use that word.
Thank you.
Don't run.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
That's one of them.
Yeah.
So another one is wish. I wish I knew the words, and I remember coming across the word wish, and I failing right now. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm struggling in this moment to articulate the specifics of why wish is not the word to use, but switch it out with desire. And if you'd like to know more on that information, and I'm not sure if you know why wish isn't the word to use.
Wish isn't that bad as opposed to want. A lot of people say, I want that, I want that. Definitely if you have to substitute, use wish versus want, but the word is desire. Wish is kind of like putting it into the ethereal like movement of wish upon a star, like that is not really going to come true, kind of. There's that programming that it like, oh, I wish, like
it's so out there. Yeah, it's such a big ask.
Yeah, it's such a big ask. It's so like, it's like, you know, I wish for $1 million. Like it's like
desire.
Any kind of wish is like it puts that kind of
stretch.
That unfulfilled kind of like energy attached to it. So I desire does not.
Yeah, we talked about grand rising versus good morning. Simple switching out from can't to could or can.
A big one is, and this was a huge wake up call for me. I think I've already told the story. If I can just take 2 minutes and just. I went to see this psychic years ago when I was really, like, I had just divorced, and she was really talking about the power of the words, and she goes, let me guess, with your ex-husband, you did a lot of, I bet you made a list. And I said, yeah, I made a list. And she goes, tell me what that list was. That he doesn't cheat on me, that he doesn't do this, that he doesn't spend all the money, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, and I bet you he did everything there, didn't he? And I said, yeah, he totally did. She goes, because the universe, actually, there's certain words the universe actually obsoletes. Can't, don't, no, won't. So any of those negative, whatever those are called, I don't know if they're pronouns.
They're not oxymorons. They're like...
You know, and our quicker pointers go ahead, tell us what they are. But those words, so think about it. Like, think about you saying, like, I don't want my husband to cheat on me. So what the universe said if it didn't hear don't. I want my husband to cheat on me. You're like, no, that's not. It does. The universe does not know those words. It's not that it doesn't know the words, it knows everything. It doesn't comply to those words. So that's the hardest thing that I learned, is taking those and trying to change them around.
It's a practice.
Yeah, it's a very big practice, because you're like, I don't want to hear that anymore. You can't say that. I would like to not hear nope. You know, so it takes maybe looking at a dictionary, at the thesaurus, thinking outside the box, but think about it like it's a command. Like you're commanding. Like, would a wizard be like, I want you to never do that again? Like, they're not. They're gonna say, I want you to do that.
Yeah, your word is my command.
Yeah.
My being the universe.
Yeah.
Your word matters.
Yeah.
It will command exactly as you say.
Exactly. So in the movies, in shows, which we talked about in a past episode, that's all real. Magic is real. Think about it like that. Like, have you ever heard a wizard tell the complete opposite of what they don't want you to do, or do they just tell you what they want? And that's how you have to talk to the universe. And
try. Yeah. That's another word. Try. Get rid of that.
Yeah, Yoda did that well.
That's what it reminded me of when you're talking about movies. I'd like to try to do that. Well, if you're trying, it's implying that, like, you're not going to accomplish it. You will try to accomplish it, but it won't be done. I'm going to do that. Well, that's more action. You take out try, it leads to a better command. When you put in try, there leaves room for doubts, for not completing it. Try is one of those words you can look to swap out.
So what does Yoda say? Either there's no try.
Do or do not.
Do or do not. Yeah.
There is no try, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a big one too.
You'll see them. Once you work with your language, as you speak it out loud, it becomes more clear the roots of these words, where they come from, and even the effect on life. So when Sandra's doing thought amnesia, somebody the other day swapped the word, it was activate versus inactive. So one of them, they were we wanted to inactivate this word or, you know, programming.
Right.
And what they said is I activate this negative trait within myself. And she didn't realize that that's what was actually being said when she's reading out loud the scripts that Sandra wrote for her. And immediately she said, whoa, stop at that one. I'm having heart palpitations. Like, I feel this script and this part of it.
This feels really negative. I said it should, because you just said.
Did you hear what you said is what we asked. She did not, but
Yeah.
her body reacted the same. Her cells hurt her.
Yeah.
When she did not.
Yeah. Subconscious is a lot of things. So if I was going to round it out, be very mindful of how you speak to not only you, but about your life. If you want the house with the white picket fence and things, then talk about it as if it's on its way already, not in the future. Oh, soon I'm gonna have that or this or that. Just be like, I'm so excited for that house and the white picket fence, and just like start naming all the things that you want about it.
I'm so thankful that we have the funds for our dream house. I'm so thankful that this is our life. And also, this applies. Your language and how you speak will affect what you see in the world. So people that have spouses that you are so frustrated with, if you are talking about all the frustrations, if you are spelling, you know, that casting that spell with your words,
to like your friends, like
it will be tunnel vision what you see. You can do the same thing with your spouse with focusing on the good.
Right.
Even if you have to fake it till you make it, you might. I just invite you to try it before knocking it. You could be on like the tail end of your marriage, and that's, you know, valid, and that could be really what's it. But I invite you to challenge yourself to, even if it's a fake it till you make it compliment about your husband, it will shift your life. It will change what you see in the people around you. And your kids hear you too. Please stop talking in front of your kids while you compare them. Like, oh, this kid, they're really good at this, but their sibling, you know, that's still something they're not as strong in. They hear that. They take it as their programming.
I was at a birthday party a few years back, and I was just like, I was sitting there, and this person was just talking about that their child had disabilities, and that hey, we all have our challenges. But I was sitting there, and they were just talking in the whole room to all these adults about the problems and all this stuff and all these things, and I was just like, I was speechless. And it wasn't my crew, because my crew wouldn't talk like that around me, because they know I would have been like, I would have blasted them. But it wasn't my crew. I was uncomfortable. I was sitting in the corner. I was just like, and the child walked in, and she never even stopped talking about it. And then the child just sat in the chair and just took it in, and I was just like, what are you doing? 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 Not only are you're calling it into existence, you are, you're programming them to be like that forever. And I'll say this out there, I have so many clients now, and I see more and more as our coaching is coming out, and thought amnesia is growing, and I'm sure Leah's stuff is growing too. We're just expanding in all areas of our life, and I'm coming into parents that are like, I can help them. I can help your child with that. I can get rid of that right away. And you can see that they're like, well, no, I think they're gonna get this, and they got special funding and stuff like this. And I was just like, and inside I'm just like, are you kidding? But I'm not judgmental. There was a judgmental thought that went through. We are all on our own path, and that's fine. But just be aware of what you're actually, if you're wanting to help someone, then help them the way that, everything matters, and don't talk about your children's disabilities in front of them.
Or change the script completely. Hey, my child is getting so good at communicating. My child is improving in their communication, rather than my kid doesn't listen. Or there's so many examples. For me, one of the things that I hear often from parents that makes me cringe, and when I go to like non-judgment, I don't see them doing this on purpose. They're not trying to hurt their kid.
100%.
But but what breaks my heart is, oh, they're a bad kid. Oh, they're so bad. And I was called a bad kid, and I remember thinking, like, I remember thinking, how is this even possible that you think that I'm bad? Because even at my worst, there was so many different things that I could be doing that were actually bad. But it's not fun to deprogram these things that you were told, you know?
I don't believe that there is bad children. I believe there's children, and then there's untrained children. I'll leave that. Anyone who knows me knows exactly what that means, so I'll just leave that out there. And yeah, be so grateful to yourself. Be so blessed.
So kind.
So kind to yourself.
Believe in yourself.
And practice. Just practice. And by all means, I don't know about Leah, I still suck at this. There's still, see, that was just another one right there.
I am improving on this every day. This skill is growing.
What I'm saying is that there's still times that I might go to my default settings of, my children might do something and I might, and then not even know I said it, and then reflect over and go, oh, that was bad. I shouldn't have said that. And then,
telling my kids you're being bad, it's like I rephrase it. You're making
me mad or whatever. Yeah.
Well, like, I've switched it to those are bad choices. That's a bad choice. But I do my best to absolutely avoid telling my kids you're bad. Stop being bad. You're a bad kid.
Yeah. Be blessed. Bless your children. Bless yourselves. Use those words to improve your life. Pay attention. If it means taking a journal around, and anytime you catch yourself, and I guess that's the hardest thing, is becoming aware of it. Maybe that's your first step, is to pay attention to what you say.
And you can start simple. If you're looking to pay attention to how you say, start with some big obvious ones. I love myself. How does that feel in your body? That's a good indication that that's a higher frequency.
What do you mean by that? I know what she means by that.
So the opposite would be, I hate myself. Like, that's even painful for me to say.
So what just like for the people that are just learning how to do this, what Leah is saying, what I'm interpreting as, is if you're used to saying I hate myself or I'm so ugly, that's gonna feel like it feels good because that's what you're used to saying. When you start to say things like I love myself, it's on a different frequency. You are not the person who loves yourself yet. We can help get you there, but you're not there, so it's going to feel very uncomfortable to say that.
It might feel silly,
right?
But what I was getting at is, even when I fake it, how I feel inside and what my body feels when I say something like love versus hate, it doesn't matter if it's with sarcasm. I have my body, and it feels a certain way when I say certain things. And the more that I give it attention, the more crystal clear my own inner dictionary works for navigating how I choose to use my words and what words feel valuable for me, what sentences.
And the other piece was, like, I was using that as a prime example, but for the other pieces, like, hate should never feel good because your body's illuminating this beautiful. It knows it's beautiful. It knows its source energy. It knows it's perfect. So when you're saying it hates, it's going to also send you that pulse because that doesn't exist to me. So you're wrong. So you might feel that as well. So that was just an example of, like, that was what I could come up with at the time. A lower frequency word versus a higher frequency word. If you haven't learned how to maneuver through the frequencies, those higher frequencies feel really awful at first, but they're not awful. They're beautiful, and it's just practice.
Sometimes the word might even be cringe. Might make you cringe inside, like you feel silly, like I'm beautiful.
Yep. 100%.
So words matter. Take some time to see how your language, if it's working for you or against you, and see how your language is working for you or against you when it comes to your relationships in your life, like with your spouse, with your family, with your kids. Those are all beautiful places. Yeah. You got this.
You got it.
Be blessed.
Be blessed.